Jim turned to Meg and said, "See, that's what happens when you have a lot of decor stuff. It just generates dust." And David, who just walked in and was pouring his coffee, you won't believe what he does. I'm Doug Walker, and this is Roominess. Roominess brings you straightforward steps to an inviting home. You can find newsletters, ebooks, and freebies over on my website. So I was staying at a bed and breakfast the other day, one of those quirky meandering houses. The owner had on display probably 20 years worth of collected knickknacks from around the world. At breakfast, I met the young Meg and Jim. They were from Vermont. Meg loved the house. She was just commenting on the Edward Scissorhands-inspired knife bouquet sitting on the sideboard when Nance, one of the staff, came in with a fruit plate and said, "We're always dusting around here." Jim turned to Meg and said, "See, that's what happens when you have a lot of decor stuff. It just generates dust." And David, who just walked in and was pouring his coffee, you won't believe what he does. He said, "I work in an art museum. It's not the stuff that generates dust. You just have to know how to deal with dust." Meg looked like her childhood wish had just come true. "Do tell," she said. "Well," David started, "dust happens whether you have stuff or not. It comes from outdoor dirt and pollen, fabric lint, paper products, and us. Dead skin and hair." Nance was nodding. "You should have seen all the dandruff that one guest left on the bathroom shelves." David went on, "So you can't really get away from dust. You can sort of contain it with a mudroom or an entry, and try to keep tissue boxes in a low drawer or on a bottom shelf. They spew a lot of dust. But here's a dirty little secret," David said. "Most dust is just resettled after blowing through your air conditioner. So if you change your filters regularly, keep your floor clean, especially around the return grill where it takes air back to the unit, you can keep it from being blown around in the first place." Nance had given up going back to the kitchen at this point and was just listening. "What do you use to dust?" she asked. David, with coffee and no breakfast in front of him, said, "We use vacuums as much as we can. Don't just move the dust around, suck it out of the space. Some of our team use nothing but backpack vacuums. Oh, and clean your vacuum filters too." He went on bigger, smooth surfaces, a microfiber cloth or even just a regular Swiffer duster worked great." Then Meg broke in. "But what about all the tiny things and details in art museums? I've never thought about that. How do you dust them?" David said, "That's when things get interesting. One of the best tools is a hockey brush." And we all said, "A what?" "A hockey brush. It's a Japanese art brush used for watercolor. The traditional ones are quite pretty, actually. We thought we lost one of the hockeys once, but we found it sitting on a pedestal with a traveling display of African headdress masks. The docents hadn't noticed it for a week." I was the only one who got that joke. "Oh, the docents didn't see it." Nance, she had gone to grab a notepad, said, "What else?" David said, "We used to use canned air. You buy that in electronics stores, but it's actually terrible for the environment. So we just switched. We're using Handheld Air Duster bulbs. They can blow dust out of all kinds of nooks and crannies." Jim asked, "When does all this happen? Do you work nights?" David said, "Have you ever noticed that art museums are closed on Mondays?" The whole room went, "Oh." Of course, I had to put in my 2 cents. I said, "But really, dust on decor depends on how well you see it. If you stay away from very dark and very light colors, it's really not as noticeable." David didn't 100% agree with me. He said, "Actually, I prefer dusting the very dark and very light colors. You can see the dust and know when it's gone. I always have to double check when it's grays and browns." Way to put him in his place, David. Jim wasn't buying any of it. He said, "You still have to be OCD crazy to keep up with it all. I can't take off Mondays just to dust." Meg was rolling her eyes. David said, "Maybe, maybe not. You know who hardly has a dust problem in the museum? The gift shop. And they have more stuff than all the rest of it. It's disgusting. You know what the difference is? They keep moving it around. The customers are handling it. The clerks are setting up new displays or restocking." I had to chime in again. I said, "So if your decor items are things that you use, then they're less likely to collect dust. And when you rearrange your decor for a new look, it helps knock the dust off. Meg, she got my point. So we need to decorate with more useful things, she said. Jim was still trying to resist. He said, these are all useful tips, but what's the point of keeping all this stuff anyway? David, a true aesthete, was all over that. He said, the right things tell the story of where we came from. They help us connect with who we are and who we want to be. Meg saw Jim's expression and said, I think you just helped us learn how to live together. Nance was back, passing out breakfast plates, and said, we need to change up our cleaning around here. And breakfast was great. Now, can you clean up your house in 10 minutes a day? Have a look at this video. You should watch. It's short. I'll see you there.